Oh
Don't trip.
man, mad. Oh wow.
Don't trip.
What even happened? I don't even know what happened. What did you? What do you mean? What happened? Why you? What was the big what's it called? Surprise, vapor. What happened?
I don't know about big surprises, bro. But what I'm saying is I came in.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that, but I came into the room
Yeah.
and all I heard was you say that thing and then that subject, and I'm like, I don't know what happened to them.
Well,
So can we
what did you hear? What's going on? I don't understand the story.
can we just can we just move on because I'm tired of
Ah!
it. Please don't trip, don't
Sorry,
trip.
sorry. Killing me. What's going on? Didn't you? I got chest infection, my bro.
No.
I can feel it. I can feel it coming, bro. Trust me. Man's got Cavonia. It's
Oh
my
yeah.
new chick. Cavonia, my new chicken.
California.
You get me?
Mm.
But the the bottles seen better days still. It says non-Jersey. That's a shame. But yeah. But what's good? Everybody all right?
Bless King.
We're live, no?
We live, yeah?
What?
We're live. It says live, brother.
What do you mean?
I mean, the thing in the corner says we're live.
Bro, it's only live until it's only live until I say we're live, my bro.
Bro, at times when you say that thing, that says live.
Man, you fought a stupid for a wise man. For know it all like yourself, you should have known that I should have covered our tracks. Hey man, you fought a stupid for a wise man. Go ahead and try me, go ahead and try me, go ahead and try me, go ahead and try me.
Hey boy, double bass, we come.
What on earth was that?
Uh,
Rah! My man keeps on changing color, bro. What's happening? Brother, are you good?
I'm not a comedian.
Are we here? What's going on?
I'm
What's
just
happening?
I'm just double checking. Are we live? Yeah.
We
Yes,
live,
bro.
we
All
in
right,
the
we live.
building.
In the building.
Live,
What's
I'm
going
like, I
on?
don't know. Are we live? It looks like we're live, brother. Okay, cool.
Says
We live, right? We live
you.
and direct. So big up anyone listening in. Don't trip. All right. This is a grown people podcast, right? We're here to discuss its opinions. And yes, it sounds like sometimes we're arguing, but really just debating really loudly. You know how we do. And trust, it's all love. And we Oh, yeah, and we are here to discuss football matters only. Grown people on running on grown people time as well. I just want to big. I'm your host JR. I just want to big up. Go and start in the right. Tiny, you want to big yourself up, brother?
Tiny the Godfather. Man United. Let's get it.
Yes, and Trimzini.
Yo, what's happening? They are. Hope everyone is blessed and highly flavored. Let's get some seasoning.
I don't know what I'm like. What's it with this guy?
Sorry.
You
I'm
know
not
man
well in
today,
there.
very far.
You got to excuse me. I'm not feeling well in it. You get me? Come on now.
That's what you want to say. All right, cool. So today we're going to discuss 6 different points. 7 even. I'm starting off with talking about a specific manager that we are all familiar with, Mr. Arne Slot. Is it good management or is it good squad inheritance? And I think this is a very important topic because there are other
So
teams that have gone through transitions of players and managers over the last season or couple seasons, and some people will suggest that it's a squad. Some people will say the manager's not good enough, etc., etc. But let's have a look at a good example of someone who is doing well with their team. So we have a local Liverpool fan. He's not a Scouser, but he's a Liverpool fan. So
yeah,
what do we say? What do you say about that? Is it good management or good squad inheritance?
I genuinely think. Excuse me. Let me clear my throat. I genuinely think it's a mix of both because it is a fact that he's inherited a good squad. Um, Liverpool came third last season. The only change was Chiesa, or who hasn't played, or who hasn't played much, very low minutes and that. So yeah, there is an element of that, but at the same time, um, as far as management goes, I would have thought with don't mean to go to the back to the past, but I would have thought that maybe Klopp would have been missed more. Not saying that he hasn't been missed, but I think he would have been missed more. And I think I was expecting a couple of bumps in the road sooner. You know, Arnie Slot working out what's happening with the team. We've been very fortunate. Apart from the Nottingham Forest game, we've definitely gone in the right direction. It's he's playing a different type of football as well, more controlled, as opposed to your heavy metal, um, you know, all guns blazing football that Klopp used to play, which I'm not knocking because obviously we won with that. We won a lot of things with it. But I like the fact that the team has tapped into Arne Slot's philosophy. It's nice. It's nice and refreshing to see, and it's not something that the teams are predicting. There's a lot of they don't know what to expect. So yeah, it's going well so far. So thumbs up. And like I said, it's a mixed bag.
Hmm. Okay, cool. And Tiny, interesting to hear what you have to say. Coming from a team that had a new manager a couple of seasons ago. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think
Smiling like
in
that.
terms of Liverpool squad,
I just,
anyway, they
man just started smiling like that. Why are you smiling? Yeah, let's go.
Look at
in
how
terms
my
of
heart feels.
in terms of Liverpool squad, they did have a decent squad already from Klopp, best three in the league, well, top three in the league. So yeah, he inherited a decent squad, and so far his management's, from what I've seen, has been quite decent. His in-game decisions have been alright. His choices for starting lineups, etc., has been alright. So I can't knock anything that he's done at the moment, and they're top of the league, so he's doing something right, innit?
Can I sorry to interject? I just wanted to add as well is that I'm very happy with how he deals with the media, because coming in and handling the the English media and stuff, that can't be easy. And I mean, being coming from across the seas and that across the other side of the waters. So I think as well he's got his head screwed on and he's been well trained media wise. So yeah, that's another thing that I'm happy with as well as a new manager, because sometimes that's where it can really fall apart.
Mm.
Apologies, Tiny, for interjecting. I do apologize.
No problem at all. But I don't. I think who Chelsea that played last. I don't think you have really had too many challenging games yet. But that's kind of the next steps to reaching it. But
That's
in
fair.
terms of so far, you can only judge on what he's had to face in it, and he's done what he's needed to do. So I'll say at the moment, thumbs up. He's doing well, and like Trim said, it's a bit of a mix of both because, like you already know, Liverpool's got some crazy ballers in their team. So yeah,
Um,
Of course.
to be honest, I think personally, I do
Yeah.
think it's a mix of both. I think I think any manager taking over at Liverpool has the benefit of having a squad like with world class players already in it, right? Already in the squad, you have world class players. You have game changers, so you didn't lose anyone, right? So nothing really needed to change. You're changing small tactics and small ways of playing, but the players already know each other. Um, Injury wise, so far, apart from Allison, um, I don't think you've had key injuries at key moments, so you've had your squad that you needed. But you still need to be a decent manager to manage a team. Like you need to be experienced. You still need to have that know-how, that understanding, that calmness to deal with these moments.
Yeah.
I would say that whether there's fortune or not, he's still kind of proving that he he's a decent manager because he's doing exactly what he wanted to do, right? He's got his way of playing across, and we can see the difference. You're not conceding many goals, which was something that Liverpool was doing last season. Even if it was one goal,
Especially in the first half.
he was always conceding. So you're not conceding many goals. I think really it's all about how you can keep, taking advantage of those moments where. So the best Liverpool team that I'd seen on their day are beating the teams 4-5-0 all the time. Boom, 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 slapping them. I feel like
Animals.
a new age team, you're getting that sometimes, but it's how can you keep getting that out of the team. So we'll see if Arne Slot is that person. And the final thing is about the fixtures. I think Chelsea was your first like real test.
What about Man United?
Um,
I think that I think that's two. I think that's we faced two challenges because
I think
as much as
I think in
sorry, go on.
principle, I think in principle, you're playing a Man United team who historically are a team that you've had, like, if we're talking a few years back, you've had some very tight clashes. In the recent years, it's not been close, right? So that's what I mean. Like, it wasn't a test thing. You kind of were expected to beat them, all due respect to Man United, and they've been different in their performances this season. But
so
Chelsea were the team. Chelsea were the team that people are saying actually is Chelsea back. Cole Palmer's world class. Whatever. They're like, look at us, right? And that moves us into the next part, like the actual game of Liverpool versus Chelsea, because I feel that was meant to be your first test because they're the team on the up. They're the team that's performing. They've got that play. But you're right. With respect, Man United was a test.
They were. I think they were because they we. Sorry, so I do think that Man United were because we had the game last season where I think did we win one and then we drew the other or whatever. No, we didn't beat Man United last season, did we? So to come and play against them to win, I think I'm happy for a result against Man United because last season was somewhat challenging. You get me? So I think it was fair to say that that was the first one, and then Chelsea being the second. So, but
To
it's you
Go
know
on.
how it go.
to,
So what?
to just add my little 2 pence on that one. Man United was a challenge. The scoreline definitely doesn't tell the story of the game, and he dealt with that one as well. So yeah.
So you're saying that your first statement was wrong, just like my statement then.
No, I'm saying it wasn't expected, like you said, but it probably was their first challenge in games in terms of the
So they
history of the two in it.
so they've
It
had
always
many
seems to
challenges
be
this season.
a bit of a battle in it. Plus, knocked them out the FA Cup last season and all of that stuff. So there was still a bit of
Okay.
so yeah.
So would you in saying that, so to move on to the Chelsea game, in
Yeah,
reference to the Chelsea game, prior to the game, what were your expectations? And Trimsy, I'll ask you first.
me. Yeah.
Mm.
I genuinely was. I was concerned because Cole Palmer, who we're probably going to talk about quite a lot, not in the pod today, but in general throughout the season. He was actually performing really well. So I thought that that would definitely be um, a stumbling block. But to be fair, he actually didn't. He didn't do much in the game at all. And I was happy to. I was happy how that went. Um, we done well. I just think that I think that uh, I was expecting more of the Chelsea team because of their form, but yeah, I think we managed pretty well. There wasn't any times when I thought to myself, yeah, this could get sticky. Throughout the whole game, I just thought it was. Yeah, there was nothing there really. I thought that I think that Chelsea was they should have. I thought it would have been more of a challenge. To be fair, even when they scored, I didn't think that there was anything there. I thought we'd score again, and we did straight away. So I thought, what's his name? Lad Jonesy, he done really well. He had a really good game in the centre, and he doesn't even play that often. So yeah, he actually had a really good game. I was pleased with the result. So yeah, it was a good 2-1.
Okay. Cool. What did you think of the game, Tony?
I was actually a bit surprised with Jones's performance.
Yeah,
Um, he actually stood up and made his presence known in the team. Do you get me? Um, he, like Trim said, he hasn't really been getting games, so you got to take your chances in it. And I think that was a very good game that he done a lot in that game. He got the goal, um, the penalty. There was the other penalty decision that was taken
yeah,
away,
when
but
against them,
he was involved in like most of the good things that was going on in the game.
yeah, the
So that
movement.
was it,
I think
giving me
what might have I think what might have added to it as well was the fact that he had just had a little one,
yeah.
and I think he's floating on there. And I think now I'm hoping that now he's a dad, that there's something, that new lease of life, that thing to play for, that what I mean. Whereas before it was just sometimes when I watched him play for Liverpool, it's like he's just going through the motions. Yeah, he is
Mm.
a baller. Yeah, he's a local lad, but when is his moment gonna happen? Like he's at Liverpool, and you've got high expectations, and I just thought in my mind, I thought to myself, for me, this, it's either do something this season or keep it moving, go to like a Bournemouth or something.
If I'm going to be honest, I feel like what you just said was was rude, right? I think
Oh, why?
because
But in what sense?
Curtis Jones is a very good player. It's just that the
Player.
players he's had in front of him have been better, right? And he's still young, right? And
25.
yeah, still youngish,
Yeah,
should I say, right?
Jonesy.
And what I'm saying is that he hasn't played much. Like he's just been a bit part player because of the fact that that's it. When he does play on his day, he looks excellent, right? Who was it? Was it McAllister that was injured?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he played, right? And he took in his
Yeah.
chance. McAllister comes back, he's going to sit down, right? And I think
He's 23. He's actually 23. Sorry. So yeah, he is still young, but
exactly. So you've got these players who are still young, and you're just not getting. He's not getting enough play. Like he needs to leave to really show who he is, because
okay, but
you're
yeah.
always second behind these other players that are in front of you.
Would you?
At the same,
Would you?
he to go to Bournemouth is an insult, really.
No, but go to like like Solanke or you know what I
He
mean. Them man there.
goes
But
right
what I'm saying
to
is,
Aston Villa. These
what I'm
teams
saying,
are on the way up. Man said Bournemouth, you know.
yeah. But Bournemouth is clearly they're good. You know what I
But
mean? Bournemouth are doing their thing, innit? But what I'm
Bournemouth
saying is,
play good games in a season, but
yeah,
Bournemouth will not finish in the top 10.
depends on who they beat. But I hear you. But what I'm
Cool.
saying is, as far as
Then beat
Curtis Jones,
Arsenal.
we're
I
all right.
get
So
that.
all right, let's look at this. Look at Curtis Jones here. Would you prefer Curtis Jones in your team or Stefan Bajcetic, who's
I've not seen
arguably much younger?
not seen enough of him to say that. To be honest, I don't know. If I'm being very honest. I don't know, because I think I've seen some games of him, and then didn't he get
Yeah,
injured? But yeah, Curtis Jones, I've seen him play a few times, and I think he's a good player. In fact,
yeah,
Arsenal were linked to Curtis Jones. But again, not to kind of focus on just one player, right?
yeah. The whole thing.
I just responding to that comment. But my thoughts on the Liverpool Chelsea game was, I think, like I mentioned it a couple episodes ago, I was like, well, actually, who have Chelsea played, right? Because we were talking about Cole Palmer, blah blah blah. I was like, who have they played, right? Only Brighton was the team, and Man City, who they lost to, was a team that they're going to struggle with, or they are top quality. And now they
Yeah.
played Liverpool, and from your feedback and from other people's feedback, it's like, well, they didn't really do much to us. So
To be fair, Liverpool didn't even seem to get out of second gear.
No, I didn't feel like it. I was actually watching the game. I was thinking to myself, when's it actually gonna heat up? Because those type of duels, you think to yourself, oh right, yeah, it's gonna get tasty, and it kind of it just happened. It was just a game that kind of happened. Um,
Mm.
I didn't feel at any point that Chelsea stuck it on us. So yeah.
so
Yeah.
my question
Yeah, go
is,
on, mate.
what would you say is a harder game? Liverpool versus Chelsea or Man U? What was the harder game? Irrelevant to score.
Oh, they were quite similar in the
Okay.
set. I think if I'm being honest with you, I think the Man United game. I think Man United played better than Chelsea did against us.
Mm-hmm. So then we're saying the output is irrelevant, but actually it was similar output, but different, similar kind of play, but different kind of outputs.
Outputs, yeah. We got the chances, and we scored. But then, yeah,
Do you think that if you
Not
play
really. United's one
against,
was all
against a
mistakes.
decent team, you play the same way against a decent team, what do you think that, like, how do you think that'll come out? So say you played against a Villa, an Arsenal, a Man City, like that. How do you think the outcome would be?
if we played like that,
Yeah, like how you played against Chelsea. Would you still feel like actually we played really good football, but we didn't really create much, or what do you think?
no. I think what would happen is playing against a team with a little bit more quality. Respectfully, I just have to keep it 100. I think that because we didn't come out of second gear, that would be able to raise the bar.
Mm,
I think that's when we would have to, but I didn't feel like there was any opportunity there because sometimes Liverpool can be quite reactive. in the sense of look at what happened. So when Jackson scored, all of a sudden it was like there was a sense of urgency, and then a couple of passes, and then we'd scored, and then it was almost like they just went back into cruise control. So I think that luckily we have that what's the word, that kind of luxury to be able to do that. But
Do you know what
again,
as well? That
yes,
Anna is you've got, arguably one of the best bunch of fans and stadiums and atmosphere to feed off and to feel welcome. Like Arsenal, I'm using my own team as an example. I can't speak for Man United. I have my opinion, but I can't speak for Man United. When things were going wrong, it started to get a bit toxic, right? The atmosphere is toxic, not really
yeah,
flat. The players will feel that. Whereas what I've noticed about Liverpool is it's generally always electric, like generally like,
at Anfield.
yeah,
At
definitely.
Anfield, it's not. We don't really get. We're not one of those. We're not a community or a collective that get onto the team. We don't. We're not a type of team that boo our players, stuff like that. We kind of stay quite connected and unified. So
Yeah.
yeah. So but that away could have been something that could have been if that was at Stamford Bridge, could have been a different result. I don't know.
But your head-to-head record against them is very good, right?
It's pretty crazy.
Right.
Quite high. Yeah, successful.
So like,
Success wise, I think the percentage though. I think Chelsea's win percentage was like 16% possibility of winning.
cool. So since 2020, 2021 season, right? The
Yeah,
results have been right. Liverpool against Chelsea 2-0. Then Chelsea beat Liverpool 1-0 at Anfield. And then
raw.
1-1,
Yeah,
right? 2-2, 0-0, 0-0, 1-1, and then 4-1 to Liverpool, right?
yeah,
And then obviously you won this time. So most of the time,
it's close.
and even way before that, Liverpool win.
Yeah,
Nearly all the times. All it's a draw. So if I was a betting man, that was what I would have bet on anyway.
home and away.
Draw a
Yeah,
Liverpool, yeah, draw a Liverpool win is like inevitable. So in kind of finishing on that topic and just
yeah,
to ask
yeah.
a question, so do you see them as a rival?
Sorry, do I see Liverpool as a?
Not Liverpool, Chelsea.
Do I see Liverpool? Do I see Chelsea as a rival?
Yeah,
No,
you
hell
don't see
no,
them.
no. They're just in the league. I don't see them as nothing. Sorry, no, not
Cool.
no.
So
I don't get it. I'm so,
is
Yeah,
I guess you have to. I guess you have to ask me, and it's a really good question. But no, no. I was challenged because initially because of their form, but as far as even if you look at toe to toe, if you look at players toe to toe, um, they don't the quality of their squad, and they're still very young. They got a lot of young players in the team as well. So Liverpool do have some young players also, but then we still have the spine, which is which is somewhat we've got seasoned. We've got Van Dijk, we've got Salah, Trent's in there. Even though Trent's still arguably a young player, he's played in the team for a very very long time. So,
yeah.
and as you can see, you saw what he actually how Trent took the Mickey out of what's the lad's name, Sancho. He kept on rolling over all the place, and he kept on tripping and falling, and you know what I mean, doing bare roly polies.
Hey,
And
it looked like Trent's been working on his defensive side, boy.
I think he has, but I think that's because then he can get the buy, and he can get to go to Madrid. You feel me? So because Madrid might say, yeah, you're the bang bang going forward, but we still need you to do a little bit, even 25% defending or something. So
Yeah. Nah,
there is
but
an
there was
element of that.
un-
But
unluckily there isn't Chelsea fan here today to take the brunt of the
Yeah, it was. It might have been. He says that he wasn't well, so it could. He could actually be. You know, because I'm not well, but I'm still here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no,
But it is what it is, and
he
not only that,
avoided,
but at the end of the day, I want to make sure that whoever is not able to be here from the Chelsea side will be able to be on the next pod.
Shout
You
out
know
to
what I mean? But
Yeah. So
this one would have
I'm
been.
sure we'll
I
talk
feel like
about.
this one would have been too smoky for him. I
I'm sure
think
we'll talk about Sancho again this season.
easily. Not
Mm.
only that, but I don't know. Like I think as well that there should have been, like as far as decision wise as well, there was a lot of decisions that didn't go, that weren't very. Like I think the ref struggled in that game as well. So
okay.
yeah, it is what it is.
So,
No
right,
man.
moving on to the next point then. Referee decisions. All right. So we're going to touch on 2 points in reference to this, but we'll focus on the consistency. So refereeing decisions, consistency. Now, it's interesting because there was a couple of incidents on the weekend, in particular, that relate to the Liverpool and Chelsea game.
Yeah.
And what will you say about the decisions that were
Last
made?
man. Oh
Yeah,
well,
think about
I
that.
think which one should I start? I think when the pullback against Salah, I don't. If Salah goes, no one catches him. So I think that would have impeded I think that would have been a issue with goal scoring opportunity. I think it should have been. I think that should have been a sending off. There was also in the box with Salah, there was a decision there as well. I think that was a bit softer, and I think that Salah was looking for it, but at the same time, I've seen it given. Wasn't there a yeah? Those were the ones that spring to mind at the moment. But yeah, as you know, obviously,
Forgotten about key one. Forgotten about key one.
pardon me.
Forgotten about key one. The Yotto, Paul.
Yeah, well, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, he landed on Jota. That was I think that did he even what happened with that? Sorry, bring me in. I've
So
glitched out
we're gonna
when he landed on him, innit?
so essentially what happened is he's crossed the halfway line. Tosin has clashed with him,
Yes.
tangled him, and landed on top of him. Right.
Squashed him.
So right, he's done this. He clashed with him, landed on his laptop. He got a yellow card. He was the last man.
He was the last man. Sorry, not Salah. Yeah, apologies.
Yeah. So he got a yellow card. Now, when we're talking about consistency, there are always nuances to every decision. Not every decision is exactly the same. Arms aren't always in exactly the same position, not exactly the same force, all these other things. But I think what is difficult is to understand those massive decisions because as an example, the day before, as an Arsenal fan,
Oh,
you may be familiar with a decision that was similar. Now, I
right.
understand the decision, right? Saliba was
Yeah,
sent off being the last man. He clashed with him as well, and he went down. So the striker went down. Cool, your last man. Now, the other thing is that the same thing happened maybe about 5 yards back, right? Maybe about 5 yards further back, closer to the halfway line.
yeah.
And a man doesn't get sent off. Now that sending off changed the game. Now, if you're a Liverpool fan, you won the game. But if you didn't, right, that decision makes a massive
Difference.
massive difference to the game, right? It makes a massive difference to squad selection for the next team they're playing, etc., etc. It makes squad
Big
rotation,
time.
all these things because you go on to win that. If you start winning it 3-0,
Yeah,
70, 80 minutes, then you can take off all these players and rest them for the
that's
last.
right. Rest because of the long season. Yeah.
Of course. So when we talk about referee consistency, and I don't want to just focus on the Arsenal and Liverpool game. Man United, feel free to, Mr. Tiny G, to
Chime in.
contribute to decisions that have not been consistent. But
Yeah.
how do you think they can be consistent? So, as an example, is it a letter of the law that says, boy, if the 12:30 kickoff, you send a man off for that, then every game throughout today, you have to send a man off for the same thing? Or do you use context? Like, how do you? Because I don't want to just be like onto referees. I want to say, how are we thinking? What would make sense of a way to apply logic?
I think it's difficult. I think it would be a difficult thing to, because I think no matter what, as human nature, that person's going to react the way that they normally do. Um, unless it's like, like they might get like a prompt or a notification, not like something that you read, but maybe like they got the headsets or something, and it's like, oh, don't forget what happened yesterday, or don't like, look, you get what I'm saying. But then it becomes influential, but you know what I mean. So how does that work? And I think that I think because of how I think you have different different referees think different ways, isn't it? They might, because of experience and stuff like that, they make decisions based on things that have happened in the past for themselves within their games and all of that. So maybe I think it would be hard to monitor. I don't know how it would. You can enlighten me if you thought there was an actual system that they could adopt. But
No, but
otherwise,
this is why for me, yeah, it's better to just leave the human error, because we're all gonna make mistakes in it. So if you leave these refs and stuff to just make errors now and again, obviously no one's up, and no one wants it to be like man just making a bag of mistakes every week. But we've got VAR now, and I'm seeing more mistakes with VAR, and the fact that they've got VAR makes it feel even worse.
do you think that there's actually more? I think this season, I think this season's I've seen an improvement. I
It
might
seems to have improved. I've seen
I
a
think
lot of
there's been
I think
I've seen
a lot
improvements.
better decisions this season so far. I give them that. But
But
on a
last
whole,
season was
like
abysmal.
yeah, on a whole, like if you're gonna be doing the whole VAR and someone's watching it back on cameras and all of that stuff, it has
Mhm.
to be fully correct. You can't
Yeah,
have though, because it doesn't make sense. You might as well just let the ref make the error.
I
agreed.
mean, I think the problem is right is um, there are certain things. I think there's elements of a game you can use technology to definitively say yes or no, like goal line technology.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
you can use like offside technology. We've seen in the Champions League. We've seen that used really well, and it's due to come to the Prem at some point, right? So there are things that you can use, and that's definitively whatever. I think the problem as well is that because there's some elements of refereeing that is going to be opinion based, the decision is always going to be consistent. But I mean inconsistent. But what I think the challenge they face, and I think that they have to, even if it's a terrible for teams, but it's consistent. Like if if you're looking at anything in the world, you're like, okay, sorry, uh, what's that?
with that vibration.
Is that we only want good vibrations over here? Okay.
Yeah. Well, it depends, So, let me.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
We
So
gotta
anyway,
keep it PG, guys.
I don't even know what you're talking about. So as I was saying, right? Um, even if it's terrible decisions, let it be terrible for everyone, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to terrible for some people and sometimes. Why is it that you go through games, great refereeing decisions, boom, 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 and then the next game is terrible, right? So as an example, I'm not saying that this should happen, but
Yeah.
if you said on the 12:30 kickoff, someone was sent off for kicking the ball away, that
Right.
means every game that weekend should at least be addressed in exactly the same way and then assessed at the end of the weekend. Because what you don't want to do is the refereeing decisions to always be referred to something that happened in a very short period of time. It's like, imagine you had a boxing fight and then you lost the fight, right? Right?
Yeah.
On points, but someone elbowed you, right? And then someone else elbowed someone else and then
And
lost the
another
fight.
fight.
Why did I lose? And that person was allowed to win. Like, I need consistency. If everyone made the bad decision, then you could
Yeah.
say, well, everyone made bad decision, and bad decisions are equally bad. So that's what I'm saying. I think the other thing as well is we either need to use VAR for everything, all right, or for just one thing. Because I'll use the Arsenal game as an example, right? So VAR, by the letter of the law, is not meant to get involved in yellow cards, right? If you've decided, whereas if it's a foul and they think it's like, oh, okay, it might be a red card, then they'd be like, okay, cool, right? They're not meant to really get involved. They decided that it could have been red, blah blah blah. It's the referee's decision. Howard Webb, which I thought was a very random thing, was going to watch Arsenal versus Bournemouth. I mean, there were other bigger games that weekend. He said, I mean, I don't know why he's gone to watch that. You know, not even at Arsenal, but he's gone to Bournemouth, like small ground. I don't know what the food like. Maybe the food's decent, right? Anyway, he's gone to watch the game, and during that thing that happening between Saliba and whatever, and Evan Nilsson,
Yeah.
he's given a yellow card, and then he's listening, he's sending messages, and then all of a sudden he's been told to look at the screen. Now he could have been sending a message to his missive and say, "Oh, I forgot to turn the oven off." He could have been sending a message to his mate and goes, "Oh my days, you just see what you
You
done."
forgot your Jaffa cakes.
Yeah, exactly. He could have been sending a message to say, "Oh my days, I forgot. I need to leave. I went to the wrong game." Right? Whatever it was, right? But it just looks off, and it doesn't have a consistency, because how can the head of the PGMO consistently go to the games and to everyone's game and consistently do the same thing? But I think, just to not dwell on that point, I think, like, when it comes to decisions, we've had key decisions that happened this weekend, and we even had a suggestion from the Wolves manager Gary O'Neill that refs favour top four in VR decisions. Now, all of our teams were once or currently considered top four clubs.
Yes.
How do you think? I mean, I'm not even having a joke. I'm just saying, like, based on current position, right?
Man's moving like Lennox. Just back.
Oh,
No.
Jabbing.
No.
Sorry, it sounded like it. You said I was being rude. That sounded like a jab. That sounded like a double jab and a cross.
And to be honest, you were talking about your own team, so that's rude. But anyway, but I'm not jabbing. I'm just saying, look, we were all, because I don't want to just say, oh, based on our current position, Man United, you guys don't have that. But I'm saying, let's include them, because
that's nice.
You were once considered one of the top four clubs.
Do you once
feel that referee? See, that is a jab. That's a jab. That is a jab. Okay. Do you consider or believe that refs favour top four in VR decisions against the smaller teams? Because I don't think it's against each other. Do you think they favour them?
I just think in general that refs favour the better team or the top teams, for example. When Man United were, like you said, one of the top teams, I found like a lot of, like we say, Fergie time and all of these extra little bits in it. So I just find in general, I don't think it's even that they mean to. It's just an intimidation thing. Certain decisions you give to the bigger team, innit?
I think as well that there's this element of influence, because you kind of look up to the players and their peers, so something might happen with going back, but the player might be like Torres or Beckham or one of those players. You get what I'm saying? And you expect them to do well, and you don't really want to say, maybe as a referee, as opposed to maybe, I don't know, Robbie Mustoe. or someone, and he does exactly the same thing. You're like, ah, fuck you, Robbie. Excuse my language, Robbie. Get up. You know what I'm saying? But you're not thinking to yourself, oh yeah, um, whoever, whatever player, like Scholesy, like Scholesy. That's it. I'm not. You know what I mean? You treat them different. It's almost like a respect level, and I think that maybe that's what happens with referees. I think that and also reports as well. I think I don't know what to call it in the football sense, but if it was at work, it might be deemed as nepotism or something. You get what I'm saying? So it's a strange thing, but I do think that I do think that there's favor. I do think that, and I think that the other teams, unless it affects them in a quite an adverse way, they just get on with it because they thought that it's always been like that. Has it ever not?
I would say that you're right. I think, and what you recognize is some of these referees are like almost in awe of some of the players, right? They're in awe of some
Yeah,
of the players. Like, they really respect.
yeah, agreed. Yeah, influence.
Grew up watching some of these teams and like, oh my days, this is the players. And right now, the aura of certain players and the team means a lot to them. So they're looking at ways of I think subconsciously they're
Thank
thinking,
you.
oh, I like the way they played, so I'm going to give them a bit of favor, or they respect, like, so we use
I
Man
think there's
City.
more respect. I think respect and influence are huge. Just because of the actual level of ability of the players and the teams that they're at. I think that's what I think it's seen and it's held in a certain light as opposed to an Ipswich, a player from Ipswich that no one really knows, or you know what I mean,
Yeah,
or and also the keepers, like the keepers get a lot of love in it, so forth. But things like that,
yeah.
those type of decisions normally go in the favor of the stronger team.
So one thing that I've known that has happened generally is the home team gets the favor, right? They get the
Definitely.
favorable decisions, right? So if you're the home team and you're the big team, then it means that actually that is two opportunities or two reasons to get favorable decisions. Now, I think the difference is, and the problem is when you're a Wolves, you don't have the quality to just make up for the lack of favor. You don't have that. So it means that you need every single thing you can get. And what happens is when they're against you,
Yes.
there's nothing you can do. And if we use the Wolves as an example, and why he kind of said what he said,
Yes.
is that there was a very last minute decision. I don't even know if the time should have been that long, but we'll just say
Elapsed. Yeah. Yeah.
it was meant to be that long. Just say that, and off the back of a corner,
The last minute header.
it was a last minute header. Now, what was contention is that Bernardo Silva was standing and blocking the goalkeeper, and generally, what happens, and I'm not just talking about all the time. Generally, what happens is you're blocking the goalkeeper, the line of view, or their position, then the favour goes to the goalkeeper. Generally,
Yeah.
and
I was
Arsenal
surprised.
were penalised because we tried to do that a few times, and referees will pull us up about it because there's things that you can and can't do. Now, the time, the positioning, many people are suggesting that the goal shouldn't have stood, but the
No
goal did
way.
stand. But was that because it was Man City? Like, in what capacity do you think that a referee is looking at that thinking it should stand?
I think the referee was thinking ahead. I think he was thinking, what type of smoke? With the smoke that I would get from Wolves compared to the smoke I get from City is going to be, I could be the person that changed the whole title race. You get what I'm saying? Like, and also what you have to look at as well, I think it was really underhanded what Bernardo Silva done, because the way he backed into, because he looked at the player, he looked at the keeper, backed into him, then moved out of the way, before the header came in, and it did look rehearsed. I've been in a couple shows, and I've seen. You get what I'm saying? And I looked at that, and I thought to myself, "You dirty dog! You's a dirty
But
Dirty
the
dog!"
dog,
bit,
you know.
the
It's a
bit
dirty
that, the
dog.
bit that, the bit about it that kind of baffled me why they didn't give the free kick to the keeper was
Yeah,
that he had that contact with the goalkeeper
yeah.
literally like a
Mm.
second before. Do you
He
get
was
me?
off balance
So
when he was about to try
regard
and stop the ball.
yeah, so
Mm.
regardless of him being in the sight of the keeper, what he's done is distracted the goalkeeper from making the save. Do you get me?
It was
That's
Yeah.
the
more
bit
about
that
his
kind of surprised
balance,
me.
though. It was more about the
Mm,
keeper's balance. Because I say, if that keeper had not been, even if Bernardo Silva was still standing there and didn't impede him, and then that header comes in, the keeper saves it. He saves it.
mm.
Because it wasn't like he put it to the side or it was
Yeah,
a
it's still
brilliant
quite
bullet
close to
header.
him. Yeah.
It was quite easily savable. But what's happened is you've seen that the keeper's he's actually done a little wave thing. You get what I'm saying? Little windscreen
Mm.
wipe or something. You get me?
Mhm.
So he's already moving and then the balls come in. So it's not like he can actually engage to be able to get the ball. So I just think it was
Yeah.
disgusting. But what I was gonna say to even go back to something else was JR, do you think that because you made a good point about home advantage, do you think that that's the reason why they did what they did to Saliba? Because obviously Arsenal were at Bournemouth, weren't they? So do you think that
So
that could have also had held some weight on the reason why he got the red card instead of the yellow?
I think if I'm trying to take my emotional cap off and detach myself as an Arsenal fan,
You
I
had it
think
on.
I think
Okay.
well, I always have it on. I just sometimes
No.
I always have it on, but
Gotcha.
I try to think logically, like, and that's why I always take a bit more time to say, all right, cool.
I respect
Am
it.
I
I
being a
respect it.
fan? Am I being a neutral fan? Am I being a coach? What? How am I approaching this? And that's why I said, look, I understand why he was sent off. If I was just being a fan, I'd be
Yes.
like, no, we should never be sent off, right? But I can understand. But my issue is the consistencies, right? And that was the point before.
Yeah,
I
totally.
don't think I can understand every decision that has gone with our player being sent off, right? I think that a couple of them were harsh, but I can understand them, right? Um, but my problem is that a same scenario will happen to another team, and they don't get treated so harshly. I think as well that what the Bournemouth having the home advantage, you also have to remember the fans. The players are more amped. The fans are there. There's 20,000 people on the Bournemouth side shouting off, 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 and you have the players surrounding you, right? The Arsenal players
But
are
but
trying to get
what
the
was
player away. Arsenal, a couple of them are being nice, like, come on, Dev, don't be like
I
that.
feel I,
Come on.
listen, my bro, I feel what you're saying, but was it a red card?
Um, yeah,
Honest.
I
Take
can
your cap
understand
off. Was it a
card.
red card? Yay or nay?
I can understand why it'd be sent be a red card.
You're not answering my question.
No,
Was it a
but
red card?
the reason why I'm answering in that context is because it doesn't have to be a red card. Because if it's a red card, then was all of the other scenarios red cards? Why weren't
We're
they
not
given a red
thinking
card?
about that. We're talking about. I didn't say, oh, because of other scenarios, was it a
No, no,
red
no.
card?
But
I just
what
asked
I'm
you, was
saying
it
is,
a red card?
what I'm saying is it's not a definitively blatant red card. But I hear why
Why?
he was sent off. The reason why is because of the distance, right? Because of the distance, because of the context. Like Evan Nilsson, he's quick, but so is Saliba. He has the pressure of a defender covering, and Saliba defender
What
covering.
defender was covering?
Ben White.
29 yards away.
Cool.
It's not catching him.
So is he? But he still has 29 yards to travel to shoot.
No, 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 no,
Right?
no.
No, no, no,
Ben
no,
Yards
no.
had Ben White had 29 yards to
And
travel
how
to the
and how
striker.
far was Evan Nilsson from the goal?
He was at the halfway line.
Exactly. So if we're running without the ball, without pressure, and you're covering, and we use a similar example, right? Sane against Arsenal in the Premier League and in the Champions League,
Yeah.
who's one of the quickest players, you know, and in his position,
Yeah.
because he gets to just before the goal, slows down, and Ben White covers, right? Similar
Yeah.
scenario, but it was a bit closer, in fact, right? But a scenario. So what I'm saying is, I've seen in a very similar scenario a player cover that distance, right, and
Yeah.
make a recovering attack challenge. I've also seen, I recognize he's last man, even though that rule in the last man has changed, right?
Right.
The rule in the last man has changed. So it's not necessarily a red card for someone to be sent off in the last man.
Right. What is
Also
it then?
put context to it. So that's why I'm saying,
Right.
cool, do you know what?
Yeah.
Am I
Okay.
right? I get it. Because he's last
Yeah.
man. I can understand why someone thinks he might not get there. So cool. Red card. But I also understand if there was that as a yellow card because he's very far away from the goal. There is someone recovering. Cool. Right. And I think that was the same context that they used for the Liverpool decision because they said there was a guy covering, he was far from goal. Cool. But this goes back to the very first point, right?
Yeah.
We're here debating, was it a red card or not? It should be definitive. It should be definitive. Like, this is a red card.
Agree. I agree.
Because before, it was last man challenge, red card, it don't matter, right? And the only thing that might determine
For
that
me,
is you're going
for
away.
me, if they're gonna do this last man red card, everyone that does a last man challenge, you just gotta go, bro.
That's it.
It's just gotta be one
Simple.
thing.
Simple.
Yeah. Or just give them a card. If you just say if it's the last man, you hold a yellow, regardless. You get me? Whether it's minor or not. And then I think the blow will be a bit lighter.
But what's gonna happen is a lot of players are gonna think, you know what? I'm only gonna get a yellow.
Yeah, but players do them tactical fouls anyway. You know, like you see a man just
But if
slide
it's
a
a
man at
red,
the
they're not
halfway line.
doing it, and they have to play ball.
You know what? The modern game is easier to get a yellow now. Like, just then kicking the ball away, too long for a throw on. Like, there's loads of reasons you can get a yellow now.
Yeah.
Right. So you can take a yellow. I understand and agree. But the thing is you also have to remember, if it's a last man challenge, right? You last man foul, or it's a dangerous. Because if it's a dangerous challenge, it's a red anyway. Right. So that means
maybe they could do it in for example, the final third of the pitch. If you're last man in the final third of the pitch, then red, innit? You know them ones.
That's 100% a goal scoring opportunity. And if you look at how goal scored opportunities are measured statistically, it's based on where you are on the pitch, right? It's based on where you are on the pitch, how many people are around you, how you've received the ball, how many touches you will need to take to strike the ball, where the position of the goalkeeper is, all these factors, right?
But the problem is, players are always going to be different speeds. So you might get like a slow striker and a fast defender, or you get me? It's
or the other way
gonna
around.
be
Yeah, I get that.
But you're right. The final third, right? It's not so much about speed because you can shoot in the final third and score, right?
That's why I say final third.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because if you're in the middle third, right? What we're also not taking into consideration is, does that person try to shoot early, right? Because they see the keeper off the line. Does that person take a bad touch? Does that person cut back? You know, because they feel the pressure from the defender. What does that person do? Like, we can't know if they're 10, 15, 20 yards from goal, what decision they're going to make. So that's why, like,
might go to the corner flag.
You know what I mean? Unless, I think there are times when it's just, if it's 1v1, there's no covering defender, definitively, red card. If there's a covering defender, yellow card. If it's a dangerous tackle, red card. If it's in the final third, red card. Right? And that will be like, well, this is this. And the thing is as well, and we're going to move on, but just to kind of finish on it, is that what happens is when you tell the players this is the new rule, they stop doing it. They stop doing it. Like when we were talking about the throw-ons and when the kick-ins, and not the kick-ins, but the kick-aways, people have done it so much more less. Even though people have got yellow cards for it, people look like they're going to do it and they think, oh shit, I can't do that.
Yeah. You consciously tap in.
So that's why if it's a black and white thing, whatever it is, we can do that. But I suppose again that moves on to the next point, and how that affects the Premier League and how that affects the table. And we're going to look at the roundup for the week. So let's have a look at the games for the week. So the Premier League results. Okay, so off with the earlier kickoff. We have the likes of Tottenham versus West Ham. That was 4-1 to Tottenham.
4-1,
yeah. Do you know what? Did anybody watch that game?
Nah.
No one watched that game?
No,
Cool.
wasn't.
All right,
What didn't tickle my fancy.
I'm going to come back to talk about that game. And then we had different games such as Fulham versus Aston Villa, right? With Villa winning that 3-1, but it kind of got spicy with 2 red cards shown in that game. Man United versus Brentford. Yay! All right, so they beat them 2-1 against their arch
Sorry, can I
nemesis.
just stop you 1 second, yeah? No early goal there, Trim. Told ya.
Because that would have been 5 in a row. So yeah, they did score though. They did manage to score, but
Yeah, not the early one though. Not that 1 minute
not
stuff.
not where they just blast teams up and that. So yeah, no, I agree.
No. Remember last week you was hotting me up about that. I was like, no.
Yeah, it can't happen. No. You're right. Yeah, no,
Sorry,
definitely.
JR.
Man United, they done their work. They done well.
Big up Man United. And just to touch upon that, and you can speak to it, Tiny, after results. That was a key win for them, and I just want to big them up because that was given.
That could have been a P45 situation.
Not even just a P45, right? I want to put this into context, right? Man United are 12th in the league. If they hadn't won that game, right? They would have been, they would have been 15th potentially. Actually, they would have been 14th just on goal difference, right? Now they're 12th, but there's 3 points between 12th and 6th, right? So they're with the pack, and it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So we'll finish up on the results, and then you can say anything you want about that. So so then you had Southampton versus Leicester, which was 3-2 Leicester, right? So that's a bottom of the table clash, right? Well, not bottom, but towards the relegation clash, and they've come out of that zone. And then Newcastle versus Brighton, all right, which was 1-0 to Brighton. So they're really showing their pedigree there, to be honest. They're showing they can beat Newcastle away, which is not an easy place to go to.
Not easy to go to, yeah.
And then you had Everton versus Ipswich, which was 2-0 to Everton. So Everton are really trying to prevent themselves from going down. And then there was another game between Bournemouth and Arsenal. No one needs to talk about that. So
no, okay.
Yeah, it was Bournemouth. Arsenal was 2-0. So we're gonna go back to the the Man United game. Is there anything you wanted to say about that, Tiny? Because I spoke about Man United.
We got through it. 2 decent goals. Garnacho and Højlund. Good to see Højlund on the score sheet. Conceded a goal, but yeah, all in all, I'm just happy for 3 points and 1 weekend. I'm not upset, and you get me. Been a while on that.
Is it still 10 out?
Yeah. I've seen too much. I'm still 10 out. Yeah, I'm done. He's got I don't know. He's got to go on a very consistent winning streak.
He needs to go on a manager's refresher. That's what he needs to do. That's what I mean. I think he needs to go on a refresher. Like, do you actually remember what you learned? Well, good. Like, come on now.
Yeah, man. But
what's the thing when you get speeding ticket? You got to do a perception He needs to do some
But
like go back to start. Yeah, very point. You know, traffic lights. He needs to go do start with traffic lights and all of that stuff. You know, there was there, bro.
Back to
Like
basics.
level one. Go back to your level one, my G.
Yeah,
that's
but
funny.
happy
You know
happy
what?
with the 3 points and
Yeah.
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 Next we go again.
Well, you know
Mm.
what? That kind of brings us on to the next point.
I wanted to talk about this though. Sorry,
Uh,
that was the next one that we needed to tap into. Sorry, it was just in the wrong order. Apologies.
well, that's the point. That's what I'm saying. We're moving on
Oh, that
to
was the one. Sorry,
yeah,
apologies because it was in the it was in a funny order.
yeah. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. So can Arsenal bounce back from a bad day at the office? Now, if I'm being honest, um, before we had a man sent off,
Yes.
um, we weren't playing particularly well. I mean, we was in control, but we weren't playing particularly well, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't like how he was playing, and it was a weird kind of, it was a weird kind of lineup. Even like everything just looked like it just felt weird because um, we didn't have Timber, we didn't have Saka, and as they were
That
injured,
must that's a huge blow at the moment, isn't it?
it's
Without,
a massive,
I
massive
think
blow. You
I
know,
think
Yeah,
and
Timber,
even
Odegaard's still out
even
as
though he
well.
hasn't, even that, sorry to interject, but even he hasn't played many games, but he's a very good footballer. I can't lie. The influx of but Dutch, right?
mm,
Players like there was some of the Dutch players that we've got in the league at the moment. They're very good.
Yeah.
mm.
So
And you
yeah,
know
but
what? Like it made a massive difference. You know, like we could started to see. You know what? This is probably our strongest lineup. Or when these players are playing, we are at our strongest. And Timber started at left back, and then he went to right back, and he's gone to
right
left
back.
back, and he's just looked immense wherever he's played. And I think like it makes a massive difference when you have those players in the team. And what doesn't help is that Saka. So I was talking to my friend earlier on today that taking out Saka is like Man City taking out Haaland, right? And we've only got a Haaland. We don't have a De Bruyne. We don't have, you know,
You don't?
Ruben Diaz. No,
I
no, we
thought
don't.
you had what's his name? The
I mean,
Donny Odegaard.
he's injured. He's injured. What I mean is, like at the moment, right?
At the
We don't have
moment,
it
you do not have one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
at the moment, right? So
He's on the
it
treatment
means
table.
it means like by taking him out, you take out all of your assists and all of your most of your goals, right? And even like he's our penalty taker, he's our corner taker. And I noticed as well, like because we didn't have a left-footed person taking the corner, like the corners, like all of our set pieces didn't look too great. Like they were swinging out away from the players. It just didn't look proper. You take out the person who wins the most fouls and the person who attracts a lot of attention. People get drawn to him, and he makes space for other players. And sorry, what did you say?
I coughed. I'm not
Oh,
well.
sorry, I thought you said something. But yeah, so
Rubbish. Yeah, go on.
it just means that we lost something with those players gone. Um,
Is this
and yeah,
like football? Is this what we call football pining? Is this like a pining thing? Like there's like um the the ball is mine. Is that kind of? Is it kind of like like you're missing? Yeah, I understand. Sorry, I'm being silly. Apologies. But yeah, Saka's everything, and I get it.
yeah, I don't even know what it is. But the thing is like I think that like I think not to take away from the performers, I think they played well, but I feel like um they didn't create anything other than those
Sorry.
two moments, and that was it. Like obviously they got a penalty, and the goals we gave them or we gave them because Trossard playing the ball back, I don't even know what he was doing, and then Saliba fouled, and then Kirill terrible back pass, and he squared it and made sure that Raya had to come out and a penalty. He actually got subbed on, right, for a player, and then got subbed off. I think Arteta must have been absolutely pissed.
Fuming.
Yeah, but in all fairness to Kiwior, he was
Yeah,
playing right back, and he's a left side centre back.
he's left
And
footed.
you rarely see him play there, to be honest. And every performance he's had has not been great. He's not been as a left-sided centre back.
I don't get it because it's weird because sometimes when we do talk about behind the scenes we talk about Kiwior, it always seems to be that he's getting better and he's improved. He's had less games now, obviously because of the type of players that are in front of him. But it's hard. It's when the player doesn't get a lot of game time, you can't stick it on him like. And at the end of the day, what's the point of having a squad then? You get what I'm saying? Do what you
You know,
got
Yeah.
with what you got, and that.
The
You
thing
know what I
is, we're
mean?
not going to be
You got
able to
lemons, you
play.
make lemonade.
The thing is, with the amount of games that we got this season in terms
They're
of
gonna need
all of
him.
the competitions and stuff, you're
Yeah,
going to need all of these players to
yeah,
play it in terms of all the different competitions and stuff. So
can't be
he might
bit
not be
part though.
getting, yeah, he might not be getting many games now, but at some point in the season, I'm sure that he may be important to you lot because
I
the
think
amount of games
Bournemouth.
that we get this season is going
I
to be
think
crazy.
Bournemouth would have been a good game for him to play in. It just didn't work out.
do you know what it is?
But sometimes I look because what I find with a lot of managers, like regardless of the team, they're just
Don't
gonna
change.
play. Yeah, do you get me? And
Stuck.
sometimes it's good because it keeps the momentum and everything. But sometimes you don't need that for every game in it. So personally, I would try and this is one of them games I could fling someone else on. Maybe if it's not going right, I can revert back to what I was doing in it. But I
Yeah,
think they should just test the waters sometimes, man, especially when you're playing lesser teams.
lesser teams definitely. All
Yeah,
right, cool.
I
So,
think what people have to go on.
I was just saying, how can we kind of like, um, conclude this because obviously, I think the Arsenal situation, it's only one game. You've lost your first game after how many? You get what I'm saying? So yeah, exactly what it says in the title. It's a bad day. There's so
Yeah,
many it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean that the title's lost. It doesn't mean that you're not favourites. It's just one of those things that happen. If Saliba stays on, you guys get to. I'm pretty sure you lot get to grind out the win. But it was 2-0, which was
Yeah,
wild.
so one was like an excellent set piece. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, jealous of it.
yeah.
yeah,
That
Like,
set piece was wicked.
it's just
I
mad.
can't lie.
And one was a
yeah.
penalty. So I
Fair.
don't want. So like other than that, they didn't really create much. They had two or
No,
three chances that maybe that a better player might do better, but I didn't feel like that. And there was a key moment when it was 0-0. So with 10 men, it was 0-0, and Martinelli should have scored. He
yeah,
doesn't score, and then they go down, and then they get the corner, and then
I,
they
I,
score the first
I
goal.
told you, JR.
What
Brazilian Theo Wilcott, bro.
you told me, or you did tell Disney?
I'm tell everyone.
All right,
Brazilian
cool.
Theo
Well,
Wilcott.
either way,
yeah.
right? Tonight he's forced the goalkeeper into to scoring an own goal. So it's 1-0 Arsenal against Shakhtar Donetsk. Big up to the Mandem players right now. Gooners.
Who
Um,
scored?
Martinelli shot, hit the post, and went off the goalkeeper. So no G, but he's playing all right.
Oh, so the goalkeeper scored.
Yeah, great goal from the goalkeeper, Martinez, and Jorginho scored. But what I'm saying is, and just to wrap up, is that
Yeah.
those key moments will matter throughout the season. I think Arsenal can bounce back. It is our first loss in 2024.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
it feels weird that to lose. Like it's mad. Like it feels weird to lose because it's been so long since we'd lost. And it feels weird to lose to Bournemouth. But one thing that we'll talk about across the season is it doesn't matter who you are, you still have to show up. Right? If you don't show up, teams will beat you. Right? Doesn't matter if it's Ipswich or whatever, like they will beat you if you don't show up, right? They're professional footballers. They might not be as good as, Man City, Liverpool, whatever, but they're professional footballers, and you give them the chance, they'll bury you. And that kind of moves us onto our final point for the week. The winners and the losers for the week. All right. So we'll start with Tiny the G. Right. Who would you consider to be the winners and losers of the week? We didn't even finish the scores. We went straight on to the Arsenal Bournemouth, to be honest.
Okay.
Well, so it goes.
Wolves versus Man City 2-1 to Man City, that last minute goal we discussed, and then Liverpool versus Chelsea 2-1, and then the Monday night football, which was Nottingham Forest 1-0 versus Crystal Palace. So who are you saying are your winners and losers for the week?
Well, I don't get to say this often, so I'll say Man United. Boop, 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 boop. We're the winners.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get to say that again this season and all of that talk. So,
come on, give us a break.
No, not that we're not going to be like win a game or anything, but like,
But
you get
actually,
me?
winners of the week.
Yeah, winners of the week. You get me? Like that's So
It's
I
nice
say
to
Man
be proud.
United. Yeah, man. I've not really been proud.
It's a pride.
I ain't been proud of this team in ages. And the first time I get to say this as well, Arsenal losers.
Okay. So what about you, JR? Winners and losers. Who's that for you, King? Honestly.
So I think Tiny's the loser of the week.
I'm
joking. No, I'd
that's
say
rude.
I'm gonna say my winners of the week. I would say Brighton. Now they are consistently coming up with the goods. I mean, they've had 2 games this season where they haven't, but they look like a team that can really go and test most teams in the league. And they've got a very young manager. They've gone away to Newcastle. They won 1-0.
Yes.
They've done what they needed to do. They were convincing, and yeah, I think that they've done. They're surprising me. They just keep pushing on.
Yeah, they keep grinding out wins, don't they? Or the results. They keep grinding out results and that. They've got something really good going on there, and they have done for the past few seasons.
Yeah.
When they play well, they really do play well.
They've got a spirit, and they're creating a little fortress there.
I have 2
Yeah,
losers.
You have 2 losers.
Yeah, I have 2.
Okay, you got to keep it real.
I was gonna say Arsenal, but there were 2 teams that were worse.
Yes.
And one is West Ham, right? And
Got pumped.
one pumped again, again. They got absolutely trounced, right, by Tottenham. London rivals, like they've got some sick rivalry. Like, if you look at like rivalry,
no pride.
And it looked rubbish. And then like I was gonna say as a winner of the week to be Kudus because he slapped 3 Tottenham players before getting sent off. But that also makes him a loser because you didn't help
Loser.
to lose.
He's a loser.
But Crystal Palace as well, because again, I've mentioned them so many times. They are rubbish now. Like they are rubbish. They are rubbish. Like, and Crystal Palace fans, they are 18th, right? 18th in the league. Like they should show more spirit. Like they're below Ipswich, right? They're below Ipswich and Leicester. And I know Leicester's been up before, but They're below 2 promoted teams, right?
Yeah, crazy.
And I've given Wolverhampton grace because of the teams they've played. Because, like, I've given them some grace because of the teams they've played. But
Yeah.
bloody hell, like, it's crazy. It's
No,
crazy.
they've had a really difficult run though. And to be fair to them, they've actually played okay in their games.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wolves are playing all right
Like they
football.
play, look at City the other day. Like
Right.
it took City till literally the last minute to win the game, innit? But
And
yeah,
the ref.
yeah, literally.
Innit? There's extras. So yeah.
Yeah, so what Trim, what are you saying?
I have to say, unfortunately, Gary O'Neill. I have to say, Wolves. They're just not getting the results. It's yeah. That's it. Wolves. How's that? As far as losers of the week, it's just crazy. It's non. I don't know how they're gonna plug that that faucet. You get what I'm saying? I don't know how it's actually gonna. It's wild. You know
You
what I
know what?
mean?
Their next game is Brighton
They're
away.
finished. They're not gonna win that. I'm saying it now so that on the next pod we see if I was wrong. You get me? So it's not happening. And I
Don't
don't
let-
know when. I don't know when their fortune's gonna change.
Well, the game after that
Unfortunately.
is against Crystal Palace.
Oh, okay. So yeah, but then Palace might show up. So it is what it is. But winners has to be the mighty Reds, Liverpool FC, my team, top of the league.
I
I'm
thought you was
very
gonna
happy
say
at the
Man U for
moment.
a minute there.
They
What,
have
he's gonna
never
say
been
Man
the.
United?
They are the Red Devils. They're not the Mighty Reds. It's something completely different. But
I might be right.
but they did. But then they did win. They did win a game. So you know. But Liverpool, yeah, I'm very happy with my team. Very content at the moment. And I hope that we get another good win this week. This week coming as well. So we see how it goes. We got a game tomorrow. So see
Yeah.
how that is. What's the Arsenal score?
It's 1-0.
2 Arsenal.
Yeah, 1-0 to Arsenal.
Okay.
What's the Real Madrid score?
They made a few changes.
Yeah.
And
As you
Do
should.
you know the Real Madrid score, JR?
no. No,
Cool.
one sec.
No.
But yeah, so that was my winners and losers. Yeah. That's it.
For me,
Yes, for you.
Real Madrid
So
are losing 2-1 at the moment at
Okay.
home.
Mad. Okay.
Yeah, it's mad.
Well,
But you know,
don't
Real
trip.
Madrid will probably come back.
we
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
done. You get me? So wanna just thank everyone that gets to view the show. Please like, subscribe, share to everyone and Janan. You get me? And yeah, enjoying
Don't
it,
trip.
man. Don't trip, man.
Done. No. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Blessings. Good night, and don't trip on your way out.
JR, respect my brothers.
Blessings, gentlemen. Have a good one.
3-5 double bass recap.